What's up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to the $10,000 EIDL grant reconsideration stimulus update. It is Saturday, September the 12th, 2020. Please do me a huge favor. Give this video a thumbs up. Hashtag EIDL with all your comments below. Share this video all over social media with hashtag EIDL so we can do the retweets. And if you're new to this channel, we ask that you please subscribe and hit the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to do this video all over again because I forgot to put the damn email address in there, and I know I would have gotten a ton of comments. So let me start off by saying, if you're going to do a reconsideration, and this is what this video is all about, the email address is Paul David Charlie, PDC, Paul David Charlie, .reconsideration@sba.gov. There are a couple of others, but that's the one that works really, really well. Paul David Charlie, .reconsideration@sba.gov. Bear with me. I was out late last night having too much fun, as some of you now know, on my community wall post. We were socially distancing, of course, at a lounge just outside of Atlanta. I had a few too many old fashions, so I'm parched at the moment. I need a drink of water as we speak. But I promised you guys I would do a reconsideration video. I want to go as fast as I can because the last video was almost 19 minutes. You don't want to sit through that long. And by the way, why the hell am I not running AdSense? Do you know that I've let go or foregone almost $30,000? Could I use 30 grand? Yeah. Could you use 30 grand? Yeah. You know why I'm not doing that? Because I'm a good person. And I've been fighting like motherfucking hell for the last 5 months to get every one of you 10,000 of cash advance and a loan up to $2 million, not 150 G's, as it's capped right now. But I get a lot of questions. Yeah, that was called a pat on the back. I get a lot of questions. Love you guys. About reconsideration. So we're going to go through all three. Reconsideration for denial, reconsideration for advance, which, believe it or not, you have a chance, and reconsideration for increase, which means if you already got a loan, how the hell are you going to get more? It's tough. But I'll explain what I've learned throughout my own reconsideration over the last 2 months. All right, grab a pen and paper, pull up a chair, here we go. Reconsideration for denial, which is the vast majority of reconsiderations that I keep getting asked. Please note, 98+% of denials are computer generated. Don't take it personally. Knock on wood. I don't have any wood in the truck here, but I'm knocking on the console. I've never lost a reconsideration for denial on a friend of mine or a colleague that I've helped with the EIDL loan related to the SBA. Not one. Knocking on wood again. It is a computer-generated denial. If you have a credit score north of 570 and you are legitimate, and with all the fraud going on, you're going to have to prove that at some point with a reconsideration, you have an excellent chance. I would estimate a 95% chance of winning if you provide the following documents and do exactly what I'm going to tell you. Here's what you have to do in the subject line. Reconsideration for denial, and then your app number. And by the way, it takes 6 weeks. So once you apply one time, you got to wait 6 weeks. They're walled off. You can't call a reconsideration loan officer. They're walled off intentionally. You can make a note on your account, but they won't see it. You can call a tier 2 supervisor, but they won't talk to them. They're walled off intentionally. So apply one time. The reason many of you keep seeing they keep asking me for more documents, it's because you keep responding to them and it starts all over. So one time you do the following. Reconsideration for denial app number. Hi, SBA. I'm responding to the denial email you sent me below. I just take the denial email, forward it to pdc.reconsideration@sba.gov. I'm responding to the denial letter you sent me on June 17th with respect to my EIDL loan application. Attached are my tax returns, bank statements, and Form 4506T as in Tom. Those are the 3 forms that you need for reconsideration for denial. We are a small law firm in New York City with 6 people. We were growing at 20% year over year, and you can find us on the web at www.etc. Then along comes the virus, and we were forced into leaving our office starting on March 30th through September the 1st as an example. So it's who you are, what you are, how well you were doing, and reference your website. Very simple. Respectfully, or with all due respect, we did suffer an economic loss as per my bank statements that are attached. So their denial letter was insufficient economic loss. Your response is, with all due respect, we did suffer $180,000 economic loss between the months of March, when it applies, to September. As per my bank statements, which again are attached, you'll see that we brought in $20,000 a month in January and February. And then along came the lockdown and our revenue dropped to $5,000 per month for the next 6 months. Therefore, we clearly suffered an economic loss of X dollars and asked that the SBA loan us the same amount in the economic loss, up to $150,000, of course. Really appreciate your help in this matter. Thank you, Jason. That's it. You don't need any more than that. What you need most of all is patience. Now, I will say this. Get your senators to send you a privacy release form. That's basically a power of attorney. They'll send it to you, you sign it, you send it back to your senator. They'll reach out internally to the SBA and say, hey, I have a constituent, Sally Smith, who gave us power of attorney or signed the privacy release form, and I want to know what's going on with respect to her reconsideration for denial. That will cut your wait time from about 6 weeks to somewhere around 3.5 or 4. That happened with myself as well when I did a reconsideration for increase, which I'll talk about in a minute. So let's review one more time. All you have to do is tax returns, bank statements, 4506T as in Tom, with the reconsideration for denial. You wait 6 weeks. You do not keep reaching out to them. You can't get a hold of them anyway. That's the toughest thing, is to wait a month and a half. All you do is forward the denial letter to pdc.reconsideration@sba.gov. Here's who we are. Here's how well we were doing. Here's our website. And then you refute whatever the reason they denied you. Insufficient economic loss is easy to prove. You say, see what we were doing in January and February. See what happened to us in March, April, May, June, etc. Therefore, we clearly suffered a loss of that amount, and we would like a loan in such and such, of course, up to the $150,000 limit, which we're fighting like hell to get moved back to $2 million, and that is what S.4227 does. Moving right along, believe it or not, to reconsideration for advance. Subject line, same thing. Reconsideration for advance, which is your grant and your app number. You got a 50-50 shot. If your loan officer's been at the SBA for 20 years, I've seen with my own 2 eyes, even after the July 11th cutoff, when they ran out of the grant money, some of those senior loan officers will, if you reach out and do a reconsideration and they've been there a long time, they'll figure out a way to get you that grant. I've seen it time and time again. They're not going to respond in the email that they're going to do that. Why? They don't want to be on the hook. Another way I've seen them do it over and over again, even now, is they'll bake the grant into the loan. So if you get a $50,000 loan and you got 2 people, you'll notice, if you ask, $52,000 show up. Well, gee, I thought we weren't supposed to get a grant after July 11th. Again, it depends on your loan officer. If you got someone brand new, and they got a lot of brand new people at the SBA, they're going to follow the rules by the book. You're not going to get the grant. When you reach out to do the reconsideration 6 weeks ago, later they're going to send you, sorry, we ran out of money, blah, blah, fucking blah. But if you've got a loan officer that's been there a long time, I have seen it happen probably 30 times now over the last 3 months, even after the July 11th cutoff. Flip a coin. If you want to wait the 6 weeks, again, apply one time. That's how you do it. It's a very simple email. It's who we are. We've suffered an economic loss. You don't need to refute anything. You're just asking for the advance, which is known as the cash advance. You could really use the money, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much for helping us out. Last but not least, let me keep this under 12 minutes, hopefully, is a reconsideration for increase. Very difficult. I tried it myself. The reason I tried it is on June 10th in the Senate hearing, Ms. Carranza said that the EIDL was originally intended to be 6 months of expenses. Well, all sorts of people had different opinions on that. Some accountants thought it meant 6 months of revenue. Some said, nah, it's 6 months of expenses. Whatever it was, I said, gee, why don't I try and go after more money? Well, here's the formula, even when you do a reconsideration for increase. It's gross revenue minus your cost of goods and services divided by 2. I'm parched. Allow me to have a drink. Shouldn't be drinking so much whiskey at 50 years old, Jason. What's the matter with you? Gross revenue We got to let off some steam once in a while, right? Took an Uber, no drinking and driving, had a lot of fun. The formula for the loan, whether it's reconsideration or not, is gross revenue minus cost of goods or services divided by 2. So if your revenue is $100,000 and your cost of goods or services is, let's say, $10,000, under the original CARES Act, you should have got $90,000 divided by 2, or $45,000. It should have been $10,000 of cash advance within 3 days, and then $35,000 of loan paid out over 30 years. First payment not due for 12 months. It's still that way now, folks. So sit down with your business, your family, and ask yourself, honestly, because you don't want to lie to the SBA, they're going to come after you with a reconsideration for increase. And oh, by the way, there's an additional form, your liabilities form. It's Form 2202. So if you ask for more money after you already got some, you're going to need your tax returns, your bank statements, 3506, T as in Tom, and then 2202, which you can also get off the internet. That's your liabilities. Don't make the mistake I did. I had my loan officer scold me. He said, Jason, stop talking to me like I'm a bank. I believe that you're going to be able to pay back the loan. I want to hear how bad it is. So you got to be honest, folks, but don't hide any expenses. When you fill out Form 2202, you want it all on there. Credit cards, rent, utilities, everything that your liabilities account for. But be honest. And if the gross revenue minus your expenses or cost of goods and services divided by 2 comes out to be a greater amount than you already got because let's say you screwed up the application, then you're among the 20% or thereabouts that has a chance to win. But I want to leave you with a warning, folks. There's been almost $1 billion of fraud. They really come after you. I had a loan officer. He was a great guy, but he was asking me all sorts of questions. He had my website pulled up. If you've got a website or don't have one, you're making a huge mistake. In the 6 weeks it takes for them to get to your case, get a Wix or a Squarespace up, get some testimonials if possible, and again, be honest with it. You're going to want to get a business checking account. A lot of these cash apps like Chime are getting rejected. Why? Because a lot of the fraud, almost $1 billion at this point, are with these cash apps. It's hard to trace. So they're going to poke around big time if they already gave you money, because let's be honest, folks, the fact that they were going to promise 10 grand of cash advance without any documentation at all 5 months ago, that's a bit insane. So I will not be surprised whether it's you're trying to get an increase on a loan or they pass this next round of funding and you get that 10,000 cash advance that we're fighting for. Don't be surprised if they want to see a driver's license, a business checking account, and or your taxes to prove, even if you've got a side hustle and you're a legitimate independent contractor, you really do need to have all the proof necessary. A website, testimonials, a business checking account. You can go to some of these, I'm not going to mention any of the names, but you know who they are, big banks that you see all over the place, and get a free business checking account or one for, I think, a $50 deposit or thereabouts. It's going to give you a sign of legitimacy. So that when we do get this money, and I strongly believe we're still on the 2-inch yard line, we've got more and more senators, we've got more and more support, we've got Chuck Schumer, the most powerful senator on the Democrat side, clearly calling for $80 billion for the grant, $100 billion for the loan. But the problem we're facing right now that we've covered, once again, all 3 reconsiderations in about 13 minutes and change, this is an election year. Both sides don't want to give. But I actually think that helps us. Why? We got a better chance of getting $180 billion approved than we do $1.5 trillion. So I'm going to make a lot of the noise over the next couple of weeks to say, senators, we can't mention the name in the headlines because they censor us on YouTube. It's bullshit, but that's the way it is. If you can't come to an agreement on a 1.5 or thereabouts $1 trillion deal before the election, please, for the sake of the small business owners, sole proprietors, and independent contractors with a legit side hustle in this country, can we please come together on $10,000 of cash advance and a loan up to $2 million if you qualify? I love you guys. Hang in there, and thanks for watching.